At that time, again, Mahamati, the bodhisattva Mahasattva, said this to the Blessed One. It was told at one time by the Blessed One, the Tathagata, the Arhat, the fully enlightened one, that the Lokyatika, who is skilled in various forms of incantation and in the art of eloquence, is not to be honored, adored, and reverently attended upon. For what one gains from such devotions is worldly enjoyments, and not the Dharma, or truth. For what reason is this said, Blessed One, that by devoting ourselves to the Lokayatika, who is skilled in varieties of incantations and in the art of eloquence, worldly enjoyments are gained, but not the Dharma, or truth? Said the Blessed One, the Lokayatika, who is skilled in varieties of incantations and in the art of eloquence, Mahamate, puts the minds of the ignorant in utter confusion by means of various reasonings, by clever manipulation of words and phrases, and what he teaches being the mere prattle of a child as far as one can make out is not at all in accordance with truth, nor in unison with sense. For this reason, Mahamati, the Lokayatika, is said to be skilled in varieties of incantations and in the art of eloquence. He attracts the ignorant by making clever use of various words, but he never leads them to the way of truth and right teaching. As he himself does not understand what all things mean, he puts the minds of the ignorant into utter confusion by his dualistic views, thus ruining himself. Not being released of the transition from one path to another, not understanding that there is nothing but what is seen of the mind itself, and attaching himself to the idea of self-nature in external things, the Lokayatika knows no deliverance from discrimination. For this reason, Mahamati, the Lokayatika, who is clever in various incantations and in the art of eloquence, being thus never emancipated from such calamities as birth, age, disease, sorrow, lamentation, pain, and despair, leads the ignorant into bewilderment by means of various words, phrases, reasons, examples, and conclusions. Mahamati, Indra was a brilliant Lokayatika, whose knowledge made him master of many treatises, and who was himself the author of a work on sound. He had a disciple who, assuming the body of a serpent, went up to heaven and got into the society of the god Indra. Making up a thesis, he challenged the god. Either your 1,000-spoked chariot be smashed to pieces, or every one of my own serpent hoods be cut off. In the argument, the Lokayatika disciple who had assumed the form of a serpent defeated the god opponent, whereupon the 1,000-spoked chariot was smashed to pieces. The disciple then came down again to this world. In such a way, Mahamati, the Lokayatika, has a system composed of various reasonings and exemplifications, and, knowing well even the minds of the animal world, puts the gods and fighting demons in utter confusion by means of various words and phrases. He then makes them tenaciously adhere to the notion of coming and going. How much more human beings? For this reason, Mahamati, the Lokayatika is to be shunned, for he carries with him the cause leading to the birth of pain. No homage, no reverence, no service is to be shown to him. Mahamati, the attainment of the Lokayatika does not go beyond the realm of the body and knowledge belonging to it. Though he may explain his materialism by using varieties of words and phrases amounting to 100,000. But in after times, after 500 years, divisions will take place among his followers, leading them to wrong reasonings and demonstrations. Divisions will abound because of this, not being able to hold disciples. Thus, Mahamati, materialism splitting into many parties and adhering to varieties of reasonings is explained by the philosophers, each of whom clings to his way of reasoning, as he knows no truth existing by itself. While this is not at all the case with all philosophers who have their own treatises and doctrines, materialism is asserted under various disguises, which are explained by 100,000 different methods. There is in them also no truth existing by itself, and they do not recognize that theirs is materialism because of their stupidity. Said Mahamati, if all the philosophers teach materialism by means of various words, phrases, examples, and conclusions, which are not the truth as it is, but are their own selfish assertions tenaciously maintained, does not the Blessed One, too, teach materialism by means of various words and phrases to the assemblages of the gods, demons, and human beings who come from various countries? Materialism which is not the truth of self-realization, but is something like the discourses of all the philosophers? The Blessed One said, I do not teach materialism, nor coming and going, but I teach, Mahamati, that which is not coming and going. Now, Mahamati, coming means production and mass. It is born of accumulation. Going, Mahamati, means destruction. That which is not coming and going is designated unborn. Mahamati, I do not teach anything approaching the discrimination of the philosophers. For what reason? Because there are no external objects. There is nothing to get attached to. When one abides in mind only, beyond which there is no external world, dualism ceases. As there is no realm of form based on discrimination, one comes to recognize that there is nothing but what is seen of the mind itself. And for these reasons, the discrimination of what is seen of the mind itself does not take place. Owing to the cessation of discrimination, one enters into the triple emancipation, where is the state of no form, emptiness, and effortlessness. Hence it is called deliverance. I remember, Mahamati, when I was staying in a certain place, a Brahmin Lokayatika approached where I was, and having approached, suddenly asked me, saying, Gautama, is all created? I said to him, Brahmin, if all is created, this is the first school of materialism. Gautama, is all uncreated? Brahmin, if all is uncreated, this is the second school of materialism. Thus, to state that all is non-eternal, or that all is eternal, or that all is born, or that all is unborn, this, Brahman, is the sixth school of materialism. Again, Mahamati, the Brahmin Lokayatika said this to me, Gautama, is all one? Is all different? Is all characterized with bothness? Is all characterized with not bothness? Is all to be regarded as subject to causation, since all is seen as born of varieties of causes? This, Brahman, is the 10th school of materialism. Again, Gautama, is all explainable? Is all unexplainable? Is there an ego soul? Is there no ego soul? Is this world real? Is this world not real? Is there another world? Is there no other world? Is another world existent or non-existent? Is there emancipation? Is there no emancipation? Is all momentary? Is all not momentary? Are space, annihilation taking place without premeditation, and nirvana, O Gautama, are they created or uncreated? Is there a middle existence? Is there no middle existence? I then said this to him, Mahamati. If so, Brahman, this is materialism. It is not mine. O Brahman, it is your worldly philosophy. I explained, Brahman, that the triple world has its cause in the habit energy of discrimination going on since beginningless time on account of error and wrong reasoning. For discrimination takes place, Brahman, because it is not recognized that there is no external world but the mind itself, and not because an external world is seen as object of cognition. According to the philosophers, there is a triple accordance of an ego soul, sense organs, and an objective world. But such is not mine. Brahman, I do not belong to the school of causation, nor to the school of no causation, except that I teach the chain of origination as far as the thought-constructed world of grasped and grasping exists, depending on discrimination. This is not understood by you and others who cherish the notion of an ego soul and its continuity. Mahamati, space, nirvana, and causation exist in enumeration. As realities, they are unobtainable. Hence the question whether they are created or not requires no answering. Again, Mahamate, the Brahmin Lokayatika said this: Is the triple world to be regarded as caused by ignorance, desire, and action, or is it causeless? Brahmin, this twofold question again belongs to materialism. Gautama, are all things to be conceived under the aspect of individuality and generality? This too, Brahmin, belongs to materialism. So long as there is a mental perturbation which makes one cling to an objective world of discrimination, there is materialism. Further, Mahamate, this Brahmin materialist said this to me: Gautama, is there any philosophy that is not of the world? All the truth that is taught by all the philosophers, by means of varieties of words and phrases, by means of reasons, examples, and conclusions, by general consent, Gautama, belongs to me. Brahman, there is something that does not belong to you, though it is not beyond the truth of general consent, nor independent of varieties of words and phrases, and further, it is not out of accord with reason. The Brahma asked, Is there any philosophy that is not of the world and yet belongs to the general opinion of the world? Brahman, there is that which does not belong to materialism, and which is not reached by your wisdom, nor by that of the philosophers who cling to false discriminations and wrong reasonings, as they fail to see the unreality of external objects. By this is meant the cessation of discrimination. When it is recognized that there is nothing beyond what is seen of the mind itself, the discrimination of being and non-being ceases. As thus there is no external world as the object of perception, discrimination abides in its own abode. This is not a materialism. It belongs to me. It does not belong to you. By abiding in its own abode is meant that it ceases to evolve. As discrimination is no more born, it is said to have ceased to evolve. This, Brahman, is not of materialism. In short, Brahman, if there is any coming and going of the Vijnanas, a vanishing and appearing, a solicitation, an attachment, an intense affection, a philosophical view, a theory, an abode, a touch, the clinging of various signs, assemblage, continuity, desire, and attachment to cause, this, Brahman, is materialism of yours, but not mine. Mahamate, I was thus questioned by the Brahmin materialist who came to me, and when he was thus sent off, he silently departed.